right, good morning to any replayers. If you're a replayer, don't forget you can still tap on the screen for hearts, you can share, and you can, of course, hi Monica, you can, of course, follow me on Twitter or Snapchat if you have questions, because if you missed me on here live and didn't get to answer your question, good morning, didn't get your question answered or didn't get to engage, you can find me there. So, good morning. Whoa, messy. Pre-workout. So, good morning to everybody that's joining. Hi, Cindy, love for you. And if you are new to me, my name is JoannazArach, and I broadcast every single morning at 10 a.m. Chicago time to talk about money habits. And the reason I talk about money habits is because developing good money habits, good morning, developing good money habits is a really important part of your if you're pursuing any type of financial goals, you know that you're going to be able to get better results if you have good money habits. So the cornerstone of our money habits, and what I talk about every single Monday, and I have for like 4 months now, every single Monday I talk about mint.com. And you might ask, why am I so mint obsessed? Well, because I've been using Mint for about 6 years now. And before that, I've used other Intuit products. And I feel like it's a foundation, Mint or Mint-like product. And again, I haven't found anything that's quite as effective or well supported as Mint. And not to say that Mint doesn't have its issues, but it is a place where I feel like, hi caregiver, and hi Anthony, good to see you. Thank you for joining yesterday and for your nice comment on my scope. And so for today, what I want to talk about is what are the various stages of Mint expertise, and kind of like even to tell people, hi, what is your level, right? So kind of recognize it. And why is it that I kind of harp on certain things? Hi, why do I emphasize certain things? Is because I've seen them work, right? I've seen the effectiveness of some of these habits. And we know well that in every aspect of life that's difficult, that's challenging, that's complex. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for joining. I really appreciate Sandy for inviting their followers. Hey, yes. Hi, Anthony. So it's really, really happy to get all the engagement and all the new followers, and just really keeps me energized. Because it's like, so what happened before, even before yesterday's scopes, for like 2 weeks, I've had really low numbers. Both it was like a Periscope issue. And, I'm still new, 4 months in, and I feel like I'm still new. And yesterday, before I started my Periscope, I was like, man, I just keep showing up every day, and like no one's joining, and like I'm just gonna keep going, right? And it's like, that's where, thank you for sharing it. That's when you go like, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing it, right? Because for me, it's the same thing. And the reason I do it 7 days a week, because I'm so committed to supporting people to do this habit. Thank you. To do this habit and taking care of their money every day. I don't watch Russia. And so I do. I'm really a believer. And one of the things that occurred to me at some point, because I've been wanting to help people with personal finance forever, and I really didn't find an avenue. It's not my profession. I'm a management consultant. I'm a business consultant, but I love personal finance, and I'm so passionate about it. And I really had committed to sharing my expertise. So anyway, the cornerstone of Mint, and let's talk about Mint. And if you do use Mint, maybe you can engage and tell me what your level is. So I'm actually going to go through stages, and if a stage resonates with you, you can definitely type that number in the comments. So I'm going to start with stage 0. I always start with stage 0. Whatever your levels are, I always have a stage 0. It's before you begun, right? So I call stage 0 the objections or resistance stage. So I talk about Mint, and and then I'll ask people like, so do you have a Mint account, right? And they're like, no, and then there's the layers of reasons why people don't have Mint, right? Some people are like, I have a bank account. Why do I need Mint? And so the resistance is usually like, I don't want my data online. People have a lot of concerns about security. And what I try to tell you is that your data, your financial information is already online. It is already online. Don't be fooled into thinking that if you're participating in a modern banking system, if you do any transactions that aren't 100% cash and 100% unrecorded, your financial information is already online. And so what does that mean? That means your banking information, your transactions, that's all being managed online. And what I tell people is, as an individual, tap it for your own purpose, and tap it and leverage it. So the nice thing about Mint is it's not an app or a web, and I use the web-based version because it's just what I've gotten used to it. It's not that no one can do anything from Mint, right? Like if someone actually logs into your Mint account, the best they can do is like see where what your habits are, like where you eat pizza. They can see your financial information. So you might say, well, if somebody knows my financial information, I may be the target. But in today's day and age of transparency, there's probably like much better targets than you and I, than like, individuals. So I say use your information's already online, use it, and then learn it, right? Like one thing is everything's really hard before you've done it. So I do understand that it's like one more thing for you to do, but it's so important that I talk about it every Monday. So if you're stage 0, like as in you don't have a Mint account and you're objecting to it in your mind or resisting, you can just put comments here, and you don't have to volunteer yourself if you don't want to. But I want to talk about the next few stages, right? So I have like 5 stages of Mint. And so stage 1 is kind of the jumping in stage. So maybe you've overcome your resistance and you've opened a Mint account, right? You log on to Mint, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? So first of all, you're like, okay, now, because what happens when you open a Mint account, now you have to face all of your like financial accounts. And if you've kind of made it a little messy, if you haven't really been on top of it, it's like what Mint does is kind of reveal your financial life to yourself. So the first stage, it's like acceptance, right? So when you jump in, the first thing is like you're basically facing that you're acknowledging to yourself that you're going to accept your financial situation and you're going to take control, right? So it's kind of like taking the blinders off. And that's what I want people to do, because everybody can improve their financial situation by taking control. So stage 1 would be you have decided to take control, and opening a Mint.com account is kind of an acknowledgement of it, right? And again, I'm not affiliated with Mint, and it's like I sound like a crazy salesperson, and I'm always tagging Mint in my tweets, and they like always acknowledge, which is nice. So it's kind of like accepting and saying, look, I'm going to take control. It's one of the many steps. And I think it's really important to give yourself credit for doing that, to say, look, I am going to take charge. It is really, really the first step. So when you're jumping in, you're probably just opening a Mint account. Maybe you've opened one. Like I hear a lot of people like, I have a Mint account. I haven't logged onto it in forever, right? Like at some point they thought it was a good idea. It's kind of like where someone's like, oh, you should get on Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, I got on Twitter 3 years ago and I never tweeted until like October. And so I understand the resistance to some of it and trying to incorporate it. So one of the things is to get going and to get to the stage 2, which is the beginner stage. And it's like, how do you know you're in the beginner stage, right? You're in the beginner stage where you're really just kind of saying, I have a Mint account. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. Maybe you've set up some of your accounts. And again, what I'm trying to get people to do, first is to go from a consumer to investor mindset. But second is to try to help people prevent financial missteps. And this is a huge part of it, and plan for a better financial future. And so what I'm trying to do is to get you on a good set of habits before your life becomes financially complex. And what do I mean by financially complex? So a lot of people go, I don't need a Mint account because I just have one bank account. So I'm just going to log into my bank. Right? And I'm trying to get you to the point where I'm like, but you want to be an investor, so you're going to have an investing account. And maybe if you're emergency savings, that probably should be in a higher yield account. Local bank's not going to be it. It's probably going to be an online bank. And then I'm basically trying to set people up for success to say, look, I want you to act as if, right? I want you to act as if you had 10 accounts to manage, right? Not just your checking, not just your savings, which we play too small, right? So I'm trying to get you to imagine when you play big. 2 things. As we go through life, our financial lives get more complicated, as they should, right? And so I often use myself as an example. Like, when is the last time I just had a checking account? Like maybe when I was 20, right? Like, and then I had an investment account. And then I had a savings account, and I had a credit card, and I had 3 credit cards, and I had 5 credit cards, right? And I had 4 bank accounts, and then I switch banks, right? And so as you transition through life, as you move around, all of a sudden, like, it becomes more complex. So one is make sure you don't leave money like hanging out somewhere, right? You know, that savings account that you open and you forgot about it. If you have Mint, you're keeping track of it, right? So the beginner stage is all about just seeing where all your money is. So you're kind of completing stage 2 if you've gotten your accounts entered in, right? Entered into Mint, like connected basically your checking account, your investment account, maybe your savings account, your credit cards, your loan accounts. You get everything all in one place. Once you've connected those accounts into Mint, you're ready to move on to stage 3, right? So it sounds like a lot of work, and by the way, it is. But the thing is, though, if you do it gradually, like if you're like say in your 40s and you've got a whole bunch of complicated stuff, it will take some time, right? Because you haven't spent the last decade or the last 5 years building up to it. So when you're finally through that and you've connected all your accounts, I feel like you're ready to go into the explorer stage, right? This is the power of information, and the power of taking control over your money is to really like see what Mint can do for you, right? What can Mint do for you, right? Mint can reveal a lot about your priorities, right? We talked a lot about priorities yesterday. And when you look at Mint, and thank you for the hearts, when you look at Mint and you look at your money, like all of a sudden it's just one place to see all your money. And this is where I've used Quicken in the past, I've used Excel spreadsheets, like I've used the other tools. And ever since I've had Mint, and I know that there are new apps being explored, but nice thing about Mint, it's comprehensive and the feeds are well automated. So it's like, it's the lazy person's solutions to look at their money. I think that's what it is. Because once you do all the work, like the exploration part, we say, well, where did my money go, right? And, Mint tries to be clever and tries to categorize things for you. But you get to explore. You get to explore your financial life. You get to kind of reflect on it. And it's just the one place where you don't have to log into 10 things. You don't have to have 10 tabs open. It is just a single overview, and you can drill down, right? You can drill down to it. So if you're in Explorer stage, that's stage 3 of your like Mint proficiency. And the other thing is I want people to realize that it takes time. Like it's kind of like graduating from a program or doing anything in life, right? Like if you all of a sudden decide, okay, I'm done being a couch potato, I want to get on an exercise plan, you're not going to be competing in like weightlifting competition the next month. It's actually recommended against it. You have to have some gradual approach. But that's why if you do a little bit every day, or when you get started, maybe set aside some time to say, look, I'm going to get all my passwords and my logins and figure out all my paper statements, my electronic statements, and I'm going to all set it up. So that might take, you might take like 2 or 3 1-hour sessions for yourself. Anyway, so the explorer stage is to really get familiar with what all Mint has to offer, and then you start exploring, right? Use their budget function, use their goals function, look at the trends, like examine it, and start doing some analysis on your finances. Okay, stage 4 is when you're Mint proficient, or what I call a convert, right? You've become a Mint convert, and now all of a sudden you're like, Mint is really making my life better, right? I am getting insight into where my money's going. I feel in control of my money, right? Like if those are the statements that resonate, then you're like in stage 4 of Mint proficiency. That's what I'm trying to get people to, where money is no longer a surprise. Money is no longer a worry. And it's not to say you have already enough, but when you know where your money is and where it's going and where it's coming from and what you're doing with it and where it's growing, right? And where you're losing it. When you have like eyes wide open, then you feel in control. And that is what I want people to get to, because everything else, a lot of other voices are trying to tell people, hi, Monica, good to see you on here. All the other voices are trying to tell people you are not in control of your money. Not only that, but you're not capable. You need to hire these people. You need to give your money over to people. You are not capable and you're not control. And if you don't see all your money, then you're really not, right? So stage 4 is being really Mint proficient. And so how do you know if you're Mint proficient? Again, when you log in, you know all your accounts. Like there's no surprises, right? This is the Mint proficiency. So you're probably logging in on a very regular basis. How does Mint makes its money? So Mint makes money through some advertising, so targeted advertising. So if you log into Mint, a lot of times it'll give you like suggestions, like say, hey, we see that you're spending so much on car insurance. Try this other car insurance. So they do like a lead targeted advertising for financial products or financially related products. Let's say you're an investor. Hey, have you considered Fidelity? Have you opened an IRA, right? So every time that you redirect it from the Mint website, they have a targeted ad revenue. So that's how they make their money. The other thing is, Mint is part of the Intuit family. And if you're not familiar with Intuit, they're a financial software services provider. They sell QuickBooks, they sell TurboTax, they sell Quicken, they sell other products as well. But those are the three most recognized ones. So if you think about it, they're like, the integration, this was they bought Mint. Mint wasn't developed and Intuit. So they bought Mint to really give them the web-based app view, because they didn't have that capacity like TurboTax, even though it's web-based now, or you can buy it on the web. I would imagine a lot of their sales still come from the CDs, right, from a physical product. So it's a little bit of product diversification. But Mint itself, it does two things. Plus, the other thing is, like, I'm not sure, but I would be guessing they're collecting a lot of data. Like, having so much financial data and how people allocate it and how people define their transactions must be a minefield. So, but I'm guessing the primary, by the way, all free products, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat now even is going to launch a ad strategy. They're all about figuring out how to find customers for their products. And people think advertising is like, it can be good and bad, right? But in this way, it says, we've identified you as somebody that may benefit from that product. So that's how Mint make money. I know it's a long story short. That's how Mint makes money. Like all other free apps, they make money through getting your information, but also for targeting you with the appropriate products, right? Financial products. So it's like I get a lot of investment product targets, and some are good. Like Lending Club was actually, like, I saw Lending Club over and over in my Mint feed, and it was like years ago. And now it like gives reminders. It's like, you're paying for, car insurance. I'm like, I know, I'm paying too much for my car insurance. I should do something about it. So yeah, anyway, Mint Proficient or Mint Converted is when you're like, I love Mint. Mint's making my life easier. I feel in control of my money. And when I log into Mint, I actually know what to expect. And I utilize it, right? There's something that Mint's providing me with automated information about when I'm on my budget that I'm using to actually change my behavior or to make a money plan. Right? And it's one of the things I realized when I logged into Mint all the time. I was like, oh, I do this stuff in my head. I really need to break it down and bring it to an understandable or usable level. Okay, let's talk about stage 5. I'm going to call this Mint Obsessed. So as you well be aware, I'm Mint obsessed. And so what does it mean to be Mint obsessed? Look, this is one of the ways in which I run my life, right? So there are a few tools that I use to run my life. When it comes to money, I rely on Mint heavily. And again, it's not where transactions happen, it's where the transaction feed comes in. But what it gives me is an overview, and I say, okay, what it is that I need to do when it comes to my money, right? I keep my finger on my pulse on the spending. I keep my finger on my cash. Because I have my own business, I do all my business, like marking all my business transaction Mint. It's a one-stop shop for me. So this is my primary financial tool. I'll give you an example in my other parts of life. I use Wunderlist as my primary, place where I put all my to-dos, right? I use Outlook as my primary calendar. Everyone has these tools, and you gotta pick one, and you've gotta commit to use it to serve a purpose. And so I use Mint to run my financial life. And I can tell you that it's very effective, right? So Mint Obsessed, what do I do every day with Mint? I log into Mint every single day of the year. Let's give or take, right? Sometimes we go camping and I don't log into Mint because we're in a tent and I'm not bringing my computer with me. But every day, if I skip a day, I'll log in the next day and I might spend a little bit of time. So every day, my Mint obsessed self logs into Mint, and I do the following actions. First, I check like my balances, and literally just like a quick thing, because again, when you're logging in, there's no surprises. You're not going, oh my God, where did my money go? My bank account is low. It's no surprise because you know the cadence of your money, and I make sure all my feeds are connected. 5 of them have been broken for like 3 years. Like investment accounts are notorious for not connecting. I know Vanguard connects really nicely. I know TD Ameritrade connects nicely. I think Fidelity does too. But oh yeah, Fidelity does, because I do have a Fidelity account. I was gonna say I don't, but I do. But some of the like more obscure retirement plans that are run by like a smaller outfits that are not retail are not connecting with Mint as well. So then you are going to you may not see everything. Well, we've talked about some of those, and again, you're trying to solve those problems. So what I do is I check my accounts, I check my feeds, and then I go to my transactions. I'm really like, I know it's a little obsessive, but I'm insistent that every one of my transactions has a category. And again, I've picked maybe 10 categories that I mark everything as, because it's just not that important to be that detailed. It's more important to be consistent, just like exercise. It is not a type of exercise that you do. It's the consistency with which you do it. And by the way, I'm like religious about exercise these days. I wasn't always. For 3 years, I just do exercise. I do a certain pattern of exercise every single day, every single week. So the Mint obsessed stage is this like where Mint gives you the majority of the feed, what you can do on your about your money, and that's where I plan it out. Like I log in and I say, okay, where's my cash flow? Can I do some investing? Right? Like I look at it, like I'm looking April 15th. I'm a business owner, so I'm on a quarterly, right? I know that like every third month, I have to have a lot of cash to put towards taxes because I have to pay my taxes, and so those are the considerations that I take into account. And then I just have, once you start looking at it, you start getting an idea of where do you want your numbers to be, right? Where do I want my cash to be? Where do I need my credit card? Where do I want my credit card spending? Yeah, 403B. Yes, connect everything. And so try to connect everything. And here's what happens. If you can't connect something, do not despair. If it's an investment account, it's a long-term, I'm a long-term investor, which means that money, it's not like you're going to access it. You don't need to know the precise balance. Just kind of get an idea. So what I do is I add it to my property line, and I'll just type in and I'll say, this is hi, how are you? This is my account. I'll give the name. I'll say like 403. I have a 403B for my husband. I say 403B, Todd, and I'll put a date on which I'll last update it. I'm doing great. How are you doing? And then I'll put the balance. And I'll just go in maybe once a month or once quarterly, on some annually, right? Because those numbers don't impact my day-to-day decisions, right? Like they're just long-term investments. They're in there. I kind of want to know that they're there, again, because you want to track it, right? People lose track. I'm from Chicago. I broadcast from Chicago every day. And so that's the other thing is if you put your I work 401k, maybe you only work there for 6 months, for 12 months, and then you move on, and then 6 years later you're like, do I have a 401k there somewhere? All of a sudden you have a record of it, right? You're like, I do have a 401k, and I'm finally ready to take action. I'm a business consultant. I'm a management consultant. I advise businesses how to make profit. But my passion is to teach people about money, and because I love money. I love the simplicity of money, right? It's just numbers. You can't, numbers don't, I don't like arguing with people and trying to convince them that I'm right or wrong. I just want to look at the numbers. That's what I do with my clients, business clients. I'm always like, just show me the numbers. The numbers will reveal all truth, because we spin a story around them, but what's the bottom line? I'm not an expert in macroeconomics. I know enough. I look at trends and perspectives, and I look at the global world, and I think about where the world's going. So I think deeply about it, but I don't do academic macroeconomics. And so that's that's kind of the Mint obsessed, is where you're actually, that becomes part of what you do and how you make decisions. Because I use Mint in my everyday life to just give me a sense of where I stand, to know where my money's gone. And because I do it every day, it takes like a minute or two. Okay. Good luck with your test. It's good to know macroeconomics. Actually important. It's important to be curious, by the way, about the world and how the world works and how money works. So it's like if you get really proficient and or mint obsessed, is you're really going to have a good finger on your money pulse. And then the other thing that happens is, because I encourage people to invest, and here's what happens when you start investing. Your available cash to spend goes down, right? Because you've actually allocated it you allocated it towards investment. But thank you. The thing about Mint is it gives you a perspective, because you feel in cash poor. Like, a lot of people will sign up for 401k, and all of a sudden their paycheck decreases, so they freak out, right? And what you need to do is, when you look at your overall picture, your net worth's actually going up. Even though you have less available cash to spend, your investments are going to be accumulating and growing, right? And if you go, with just your standard route, some mutual funds, you get invested in the market, sometimes it might go down, but mostly over time it'll go up. And that's the nice thing. Can money buy love? No, it can't. It can buy like therapy and stuff. It can buy you friends, like paid friends, but probably not love. And so that's where you use Mint. You use Mint to give you a sense of where you are, and to give you conviction that what you're doing is working, right? That's why, because your bank account is not where it's at. Your bank account is not where it's at. And so that's why Mint, where you log in your bank account and you're like, oh, I only have this much money, that's why Mint gives you the entire picture. This is why I harp on it so much, right? Because I'm trying to prepare you for the future, for your future self, where you're going. Even if you're not there yet, if you're not yet an investor, and there's no reason not to become one, but I'm preparing you for a more complex financial future. Here is the thing. Our government and our institutions, it's not that they have abandoned us, but they just figured out it's a lot easier and simpler to just let everybody manage their money. So unless you're already grandfathered into some sort of pension rich institution, which I've never been part of, the government, the U.S., the capitalist country that it is, said, you know what? We're going to let you deal with it. And then people were like, woohoo, we're going to take all our money and we're going to manage it. And then everybody just went on with their lives. And nobody took the time to go, well, what does that mean? What do I need to do differently now that, I have a 401k or a 403b or 457 or an IRA? Oh, wait, I don't even have those. Oh, why not? Because, and your parents aren't talking to you about it, or your grandparents. Why? Because their generation went through and got a pension. They were like, oh, you work for one company for 20 years. And when you work, finish working for 20 years, or if you're a teacher, if you're part of a union, if you still have a government job, there's going to be a pension. Someone else is spending a tremendous amount of money and effort making sure that there is a cash flow for you. Not anymore. So if you are not in a pension system, this is like so critical that you realize that you are your own pension system and you need to take control. And I'm here to help you. And Mint is just a free tool that's readily available to everybody, and I trust it. I trust it with all of my information. Why? Because they already have it. They already have it. I use TurboTax, I've used Quicken, and maybe it wasn't connected before, but you know what? The information is just that. And if you're not using that information for your own benefit, figuring out how it's affecting me. Yeah, thank you. I know. I'm like, yes, for Mint. It's a process. And that's why I talked about stages, because I don't want everybody, people come on and they're probably like, that girl is crazy. She checks Mint every day. Who does that? But again, I use the example, if you told your boss you'd check your email next month, then you would get fired, right? There's just certain things where you need to attend to every day, whether it's your email, whether it's your Facebook, whatever your jam is, your Instagram, your Snapchat, wherever you go to get kind of like a dose of good feeling or a dose of connection, start being connected to your money. And Mint is just hands down, it's the free app. It's well developed. It's not perfect, but it works well. It does the job. So get on Mint. If you're having trouble, come on and be like, crap, I tried to connect 5 accounts and 4 of them are not working. What's going on? And I'm to a point where I want to get to a point where I can go and be like Banana Republic, or whatever the group of cards, Gap brands. Get your get your act together and get it to connect to Mint. Like one of the most common things when I talk about Mint, someone's like, oh, my Banana Republic won't connect. My Gap card won't connect. I'm like, I know. But let's not let one issue, like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And same with the investments. It's terrible. Don't use it to manage your investment. Just know where it's at. And so that's the spiel for today. Mint Monday, every Monday, I talk about Mint. I talk about some aspect of Mint. I go through the pieces. I've gone through it before. I'll probably do it again, where I go through the different sections, how you use it, what you do, simplify, just get going on it, right? And you will definitely get in a space where you will get a better handle on your money. I guarantee it that when you start doing this regularly, like everything else, when someone's like, if you get yourself to the gym, you will be healthier. I'm proof of it, like 3 years in, and I am doing great health-wise. And you know what? It was hard. It was hard to get started. But money-wise, it is the same exact principles, people. So get on Mint, and if you're having trouble, get back on here. Every single day I'm here, 10 a.m., 7 days a week. Why? Because I want you to succeed. I want you I don't want it to be a secret. I want to get all my knowledge and all my habits and say, here's what I've done. And some of it was haphazard. And I was just like, I just had good intuition about it. And I had a commitment and discipline to do it. I look back and I'm like, man, I made some good decisions. I made some crappy decisions because I just didn't know any better. But I just happened to make enough good decisions in my life where I feel like, wow, let's make those good decisions systematic. Let's share those with everybody and tell them how I've done it. And again, it's systematic. What's tomorrow's topic? On Tuesday, I come up with a task. So here's my weekly lineup. Monday's always Mint Monday. Tuesday, it's Task It Tuesday. I kind of create a task for you, and I can maybe even write up a summary of all the different tasks. Like I'll do like different tasks, like find out your marginal tax rate, or what's your lifetime income. And so I talk about a task that you can do to get a better, something specific about your own financial life. And then on Wednesday, I go through it for myself, or I'll show you the tool to do it. On Thursday, I kind of rant, I throw down. I'm like, something that I read during the week will really drive me nuts. Something about a financial product, a financial topic, something. And then on Friday, I talk about fees, because we try to eliminate fees out of our lives. And Saturday, I talk about success, and Sunday, Savor Sunday. So it talks about, I usually talk about financial freedom on Sundays. So those are my lineups for the week at 10 a.m. every day. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, I usually pick a topic. It's one of my favorites. Like I'll talk about taxation a lot, or the impact of taxes, or tax deferred account in detail in the afternoon. So Money Matters dives into it. Home buying, renting versus selling. Just again, sometimes people ask me questions. Why am I only talking about money? Because that's my favorite topic. And it's something that not enough people have access to information about. I talk about business some. I talk about the implication of business ownership, but they also talk about the sort of management of money, because I feel like there are other resources. So whenever I have a question that's outside of the thing that I talk about, I try to send them to people that I respect, that have way more knowledge and way more passion on it, right? Like Smart Passive Income from Pat Flynn, if you're looking to make side money. He's so knowledgeable about it and dedicated. I look for people who are dedicated to sharing information and really giving value. I love Apple, such an innovative company. Really has changed the world. Look at that. Look at what I'm doing. I'm talking to you on my Apple phone, and I might get my Apple computer in front of me, and they're just brilliant. Because you know what they did? They simplified. Steve Jobs, the genius of when Apple was going under and he went back, he was like, simplify. Let's cut all the projects except 4. Right? Because they had proliferation. Thank you. They had a proliferation of products. So if you ask me something on a different topic, I'm happy to talk about it. I don't, all day long, all I think about is business, how to improve things, how to make our world better. Like, why are we so anxious? Thank you. Why, I'm trying to, my ultimate goal, we work hard for it. That's right. Don't outlive your money, and don't, I'm just very curious about the world. I read a lot. I only read nonfiction. I read a lot. I don't get involved in too much drama. I try to see how can we make the world a better place. And at the top of the Maslow pyramid, I suppose, if you know what that is. I make my mission to to share this perspective, because I feel like we live in a world of abundance, and it's so sad that not everybody has that we have so many people trying to keep that away from others. Like, we don't have to. So I'm trying to liberate people from their own kind of worries and anxiety by just helping them use strategies to help, to manage their money better. But yeah, if you have questions outside of business, I don't know. I don't invest in individual stocks, but it is a big part of, if you actually have mutual funds, if you have any mutual fund, pretty sure you invested in Apple, because it's such a big part of the market in terms of the market capitalization. So if you were to examine your mutual fund holdings, hi, how are you? If you were to examine your mutual fund holdings, you'll probably find Apple in there. So most people who invest in some sort of broad-based American mutual fund will give, how about Apple worth? Yeah, because they don't pay out a lot of dividends. They reinvest a lot in their own company. So they, it's market capitalization and sort of the stocks, and people get kind of, the thing about Apple, the downside, the unfortunate thing is that they were really good at tax dodging. So Steve Jobs was a very aggressive, let's say, businessman. Aggressive being like a nice euphemism for someone who doesn't think rules apply to him. So Apple has always been aggressive on, Apple's always been aggressive on tax and pricing strategy, right? They don't discount. They just put out a really good product, and people buy it because it is really good. It's a good product. But as a company, they've been avoiding taxes for a really long time, and that bothers me a little bit, because I do think that the people holding all that wealth, the Apple stockholders, which a lot of them were the early investors, they make them to break. Yeah, they make them fragile. I don't know. I don't own an Apple Watch. I know people that do. I just I don't need it. I don't feel like it enhances my life, so I don't, so I don't have one. You can only take it, and I'm sure, I would find entertainment out of it, but I'm a very values driven, what's the value of it? And I'm a late adapter when it comes to technology. I'll buy the best technology, but I'll wait till I figure out what's the use case. What is it? How's it going to change my life? Is it something, is it going to give me a shock if I'm eating too much sugar? I don't know. If it's eventually, I think it will have some, I think when it comes to health, this is a little side. Here is where, if you don't know, your Apple, your iPhone has a health app. It's so interesting how Apple pushes you new apps that you don't even know, and the Apple Health app tracks things. It's just tracking steps right now, but eventually they're gonna get into the healthcare space. I just know it because that is the final frontier for when we want to live longer. To get the feedback, with that biotech company, the woman who's making the diagnostics really cheap. Nobody bought it. It's nowadays. I have an iPad, right? And I have one of the earlier ones because I saw it and I was I really need it. And my husband was fighting me on it. I'm I want it. I must have it. And I was having my twins at that time. I'm I'm going to give birth to my children. I need an iPad. And so anyway, aside, but eventually Apple's going to get into healthcare and healthcare diagnostics, just to see. And maybe the Apple Watch is kind of the first thing, because anything that can touch your skin the entire time and you get used to it, eventually actually we'll have implants in our, you just you wait. It's not that far off. So that's where you'll, here's, I've done okay. I have never it's funny. I'm not an event, there was never an event in my life that was woohoo, look at all the money I made, or, I'm well compensated as a management consultant, and I live well below my means, right? So that's why I talk about accumulation and making, good choices and doing it over time. So I don't know, am I rich? I don't know what that even means. I feel rich is people who live a luxurious lifestyle, and I think it's a little bit different. I feel financially secure. But that's, again, it's a relative term, right? Some people be that's not a lot of money, or it is a lot of money. I'm I don't know. It's just do you feel you can be free to do what you want? Spend, 40 minutes on Periscope talking to a bunch of people about what I know, and I feel free to do that. So I have enough. I guess one day I woke up and I was meh, I have enough. But I still work because I like working. I like helping businesses evolve their evolve their business processes, and I like doing that. When he upgraded. Yeah, I don't have money, right? Right. Some people like, it's an investment. Like when you're buying a device, thank you for attending, and thank you for encouraging me. Like literally, it was 2 weeks where I was like, no one's showing up to my Periscope, but I just keep doing it every day. Every day, I've not broken. October 20th, I got on. I've not broken a streak. I mean, I was like broadcasting from airports, from like traveling. I'm just on it because I just feel it's so important. And every day, if I could just get one person to shift their thinking just slightly, or have them take one action, that is worth it for me. And like literally later today, I'm going to be meeting with someone who's like, I'm struggling with money. I'm like, I'll meet with you and we're going to talk about your financial situation and we're going to figure out a plan. So yeah, the Apple's new event. Yeah, I don't follow, I'm just like I'm not that trendy. I'm not that trendy. I like investing. I don't like blowing my money on like the newest toys. I like value. Like I like things that if my iPhone breaks, I'll just go get a new iPhone. By the way, like the funniest thing at the Verizon store, they're always trying to sell you the insurance money. Like, oh, what if your iPhone? I'm like, it's okay. Like if I break it, if I'm that careless with my high priced device, I'm gonna pay the money, and it's okay. I can afford. And the guy's like tries to keep selling me warranty. Don't buy warranties, by the way. Don't buy warranties. Save that money, put it aside. Don't spend it on the next thing, and then you'll be better off never buying a warranty, but just having because they're very high profit for the company. And then if you buy, I've heard two things. One is never buy a warranty, or buy every single one and then make sure you're filing claims, right? So that's really the only, like, it's almost like but like it costs so much money to buy all those warranties. And I know myself, I'm never going to fill out a warranty. I think one time like this guy was like, oh, this, $10 protection plan for your sneakers. And I always make holes in my sneakers. It's like, oh, good idea. And I never keep track, I'm like, man, just like make it a rule. They're not good. They're actually a huge profit for the company, and anything that's a huge profit for the company is never good for the consumer. So, don't buy the warranties. I mean, I know Apple Care, and again, know yourself. If you're the person who keeps like dropping your phone and you kind of have accidents, like some people are more accident prone, then by all means, like, do the math. I think Apple Care does work for some people. I don't have it. I'm just going to be like, I'll take my chances, and I need to take care of my stuff. Like, you need to be more careful. I don't know. Like, you don't need to be crazy, like, necessarily, but you need to respect the value of things. And then you need to be like, shit, I don't take care of it. It's going to be a lot of money, right? Like, always make sure it's not near water. My kids aren't playing with it near the water. I don't know. I just do a few extra steps where I'm like, I don't want to feel that pain. So I'm going to be more careful with it. That's just my philosophy. But in general, when a company makes a profit on something, a huge profit, that's why they're so aggressive in selling them. And again, I think Apple Care, because it is a high-priced device and people do have accidents, it may be okay. But again, if you saved that money, if you saved all the money that you paid towards warranties, and you just had like the oops account, and you never spent it, then you had this discipline to keep it, it would be better. House warranty. No, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I didn't know about the house warranty. So anyway, I gotta run because I'm supposed to meet someone like a while ago. Excellent. Yeah, download it. I haven't used the app. I use the web-based thing, but I know the app is good. And like I said, I've seen them investing. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for commenting and the hearts. And I'll be here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Every day at Central Time. And then I'll probably, let's see the calendar. I think tomorrow afternoon. Like, so if you're interested in like a deeper, I go into like financial topics. That would be at 5 p.m. tomorrow on my Money Matters broadcast. That's exciting. So I don't know yet, but so if anybody ever has like a question where you're like, I really wish you would cover this, shoot me comment on the broadcast or tweet at me. And I usually do a bunch of research, and I do that. And if you look at my Catch account, catch.me account, you can kind of get a sense of what my Money Matters topics have been in the past, and you can watch them if there's anything particularly that you like, that you're interested in. But I'm always happy to cover it again, over and over and over. All right. Thank you, and have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow if you can join. Bye.